Hello, ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Global Talkative Series here from our studio in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And we are blessed on this show to have amazing and wonderful guests, from all walks of life who have taken time out of their busy schedule to come be a blessing, to impact life, to transform life. You know, this platform is for collaboration, or for impact, for us to learn from one another. And today is not an exception because we have someone in the house all the way from Limpopo, South Africa. I said we've been blessed. We have all these amazing, wonderful guests from all over the world. And today we have an amazing guest in the house. It's going to be a blessing to you. It's been a blessing to me, for a long time, and it's still a blessing to a lot of African, and it's an inspiration, to a lot of us. So, before I bring him on, we're reaching you now. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So I want to bring him in on Instagram so that we can connect to all audiences on all platforms. So anyway, from now, our guest will be connecting with us on Instagram because we're already live on Facebook and YouTube. So we're expecting him to join us in he's gonna join us right away, right now. Okay, Doctor, have you seen any invitation from me?
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
there you are.
Okay, that is amazing. So our guest will be joining us right now on Instagram, and then we can carry everybody along on this live chat. That is wonderful. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today is no other person than Dr. Olakris, all the way from Limpopo, South Africa. And today's topic is such an important topic that is very, very important to, a whole continent and the rest of the world. Our topic of discussion today is Africa Renaissance, a creative continent on the rise. We have a lot of challenges, with our continent, but our spirit is not broken. We have amazing individuals, person of color doing amazing things, and I think it's time for us to learn and to know about this exploit that these individuals are doing. And like we do it on this show, I'm going to read the profile of our guest to you, and then you can relate and you can understand the person we're talking to. Now, here goes the profile of Dr. Olakris. Dr. Olakris Akinola is an academician, playwright, director, film director, and life coach. Dr. Lacris, is a distinguished dramatist, playwright, stage play director, theater administrator, teacher of acting and film director who has developed keen interest in African post-colonial literature and cultural studies. He has authored several plays and poems, as well as featured in a number of South African movies, such as Jacob's Cross. If you're there, if you want DSTV back then in Nigeria, you'll have, it's an amazing series, Jacob's Cross on Mnet and Room 9 on SABC. He has also directed a number of Nollywood films such as The Dragons, The Lincoln's Clan. Dr. Lacris teaches acting and English at the University of Limpopo, South Africa, and heads the training, development, and project division at Acromat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our guest. Hello, so how are you doing today?
I'm good. Larry Ajayi, it's my
Uh,
pleasure to be with you and your guests all over the world. It's an
Thank you
honor
very much.
and a privilege to be on your platform.
Thank you very much. We already have about 10 people, from Facebook watching. We have folks on YouTube watching and folks on Instagram watching from all over the world. So, Doctor, can you reduce the volume of your phone to the lowest completely?
It's completely reduced to the
Okay,
lowest.
good. So yeah, good. Thank you very much. Now, our topic today. Thank you for those who are joining, Trifed, Fareke, and all those who are joining us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate you. Pastor Jibala from Nigeria said, "Great job. Thank you for people who are joining us from around the world. We appreciate you." Now, let's go straight to today's questions. The first question I have for you is: Africa is one of the most populated continent with a population of about 1.3 billion and still counting, blessed with all natural resources that we can find anywhere in the world. Yet the one least developed. In your view, why is this so? It doesn't align.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for your profound question and the seriousness of that question. You see, to be honest, I have an issue with definitions and nomenclatures. We must be careful when we talk about development. According to who exactly? The
Mm,
same developed societies are trying to control pollution for a long time now. The West is not totally a beacon of development. Look,
mm,
developed is different from civilization. What we call Western development is actually a perverted form of civilization. Are people in the West really developed? Where is pollution coming from? Development.
mm,
Where is abortion coming from? Development. GMO foods that are giving us diseases, where are they coming from? Giving us cancers. They are coming from development. So we should be careful when we talk about development. Obesity is a product of that same development.
mm,
Let us stop celebrating what ought to make us cry. Today, that same civilized world is looking back to Africa to solve medical problems through our own herbs. That
yeah.
is the Western development. I mean, what has the Western development brought them? So, in this 21st century, the world is screaming Black Lives Matter. Why? Because of the way the so called developed nations are treating those who do not look like them, who do not worship like them. What
Mm,
development are we talking about? So, do we still do we still want to continue to deceive ourselves with the type of development that Africa needs? Yeah. Do we still think the West are developers? Not at all. It is okay for them to take the credit, but the truth is coming out now.
mm,
The development templates were largely stolen from Africa. Africa has never been underdeveloped. Africa has never been not developed. The
mm,
things that were stolen from us shows how much development we have had, how much
mm,
civilization we have had. And then thereafter, they contorted all the things that were stolen from us. Look, monies used to build Europe and her sisters are largely coming from Africa.
mm,
500 billion annually from francophone nations. So they say, okay, they say African leaders are corrupt. Well, which is very true. But their societies are safe havens for those stolen monies.
mm,
Help me here. Our
mm,
major problem is the lack of drivers. If you like, nationalists. So every society have drivers of the people who are dedicated and sworn nationalists.
mm,
What do we have, Larry? Nothing in particular, just political jobbers without ideologies. Since the
mm,
political parties also lack progressive ideology, we have immersed ourselves in deep, artificial, and fake nationalism. We are still treating our continent like Africa, like Mali, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Togo, Benin. Sadly, other continents do not see us as as divided. They see us as the same.
mm,
Outside the world see us as Africa.
mm,
So we were one people before colonialism with kingdoms all over the continent.
mm,
We had kingdoms all over the continent. The Benins had the kingdoms, the Yorubas had the kingdoms. We were civilized, we were developed, we had machine tools, we had architecture. Our fence, the Benin wall, for example, was built far before the Chinese wall
China
was.
wall. Mm,
Today, we are successfully tricked to be different, to think that We are different in Africa. We are not different. So besides those early nationalists such as Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe from Nigeria, Nkrumah from Ghana, Mandela, South Africa, Mugabe, Zimbabwe, Julius Nyerere, and later the likes of Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso, Jerry Rawlings, Ghana, we now seem to be parading the worst of our leadership materials. Many African leaders are far away from being called nationalists. Go to other nations. Chinese, they have Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
Cubans have Fidel Castro. Who do we have today? Just a few Mandelas here and there, and nothing more. So we are developed. We are developed. Our development was destroyed. Let's go back to when it was destroyed before we can go forward to where we are now. So when anyone comes to say Africa needs to develop, I wonder, what are you talking about now? Let's go back and talk about what we were before now.
Now, in your view, so whose fault it is? Because the next question I'm going to ask you is that what are some of the greatest challenges facing Africa that are preventing us from becoming, what we used to be now? Because based on what you said, you're the second speaker that mentioned that here. That I never knew there was a Benin Kingdom wall that was even bigger and was here on earth before China wall. I
Yes,
never
sir.
knew. You are the second person that's mentioning that, and I discovered that that is true. So, what are the challenges that has prevented us from, because there's a proverb that says that if you can't go forward, then take a new direction. Like Yoruba people they say that "Tiwa Yoruba ṣe lọ, èèyàn ṣe padà sí." To
That's
our
right.
viewers all over the world, that means that if you're going forward and you're not getting to where you're going, and you keep on going, that doesn't make any sense. Like Albert Einstein said that you're doing the same thing over and over, and you're expecting a different result is a definition of insanity. So, what are the challenges that has prevented us from becoming what we used to be? What has prevented us thus far?
Thank you. Very great question. And my answer is simple: accidental leaderships.
Hmm.
These are leaders who became leaders unprepared.
Hmm.
We can talk of Barack Obama. He was a great president of the United States of America, but Barack Obama had been dreaming about the presidency for years since he was serving in the streets.
Hmm.
But in Africa, we have accidental leaderships. These are leaders who became leaders unprepared. No preparation, no vision, no mission, no mentors. Leaders who have no role models. Can you imagine? Leaders who were raised by bad leaders and bad mentors.
Hmm. Hmm.
That right there is our tragedy as a continent. Larry
Hmm.
Ajayi,
Yeah.
accidental leadership.
Wow. Wow.
And we
Wow.
have found some of them writing books about it, especially in Nigeria. Accidental public servant,
Hmm. Hmm.
accidental president. I
Wow.
was in prison. I came out to be a president. I was this. No, 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 no. We want you from when you were in high school, from when you were in college. We want you to see that you were trained by some Awolowo, you were trained by some Mandela, you were trained by some Nnamdi Azikiwe to become something great in the future. It will be those moments that you will have started building your ideologies.
Hmm.
Even the Nigerian followers of Awolowo today, who call themselves Awoists, they are far from the ideals that Awolowo had.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So accidental leaderships. And that's why when they get to leadership position, they feel like God. They feel like the masters of the people. They didn't prepare for it. They do not have the character to be there. If you were prepared for leadership, you would have built character over the years. And then, this is a big one. They did not serve in little places, in little things. They
Hmm.
have not been faithful in little things. You have not served your family. You have not served your street. You have not served your landlord association. You have not served in your county, your local government. Boom, you find yourself in the Senate. Boom, you find yourself in the House of
Hmm.
Representatives. Boom, boom, boom. You find yourself in the presidency. You have no purpose, no vision. You do not even know yourself, talk less of knowing the problems of the people. Accidental leadership.
Hmm.
That's the
That is
problem of Africa.
that is amazing, and that leads me to the next question. Someone watching us on Instagram by the name of Fareki said they have vision, just no support, and that I'm gonna comment that with the next questions that everything rise and falls on leadership, as we've said, as we read, in books and in trainings, and this is one of the major issue with Africa. But I want to choose the question that do you think we have leadership problem in Africa or followership problem?
Let me quickly answer Fareke's submission. Fareke said they have vision, just
Just
no
no
support.
support.
I have been opportune to lead before.
And you are still leading.
No leader needs support. The leaders will merit support. I don't wait for people to come along with me. I move and then people follow.
Hmm,
We do not have leaders in Africa. Well, maybe Rwanda. We do not have leaders in Africa who move. Who move.
hmm,
Leaders, a leader doesn't need followers. A leader does it and the people observe and they follow to do it.
hmm,
A leader will garner people's sentiment and passion to follow. People will support the vision if they see that you are doing it. If my leader is corrupt, how do you want me to support him in anti-corruption fight?
hmm,
If
hmm,
my leader is a nepotist, how do you want me to support him in his fight? If my leader is partisan and he appoints people because of party, not because of their expertise. If my leader gives contract to his family member, how should I support him?
hmm,
Jerry Rawlings killed people in Ghana who were corrupt. He killed his own blood relative who were corrupt, and all corrupt people they vamoosed.
hmm,
So what we're talking about is real leadership. When we see a leader, we will drop all our shenanigans, we will follow them. Going back to your question, what about followership, right?
yes, yes,
Everything rise and fall on leadership. Is that it?
yes. So can we say leadership
We
is the
know
problem or the followership?
we know we have leadership problems. There are leadership issues everywhere. So Africa is not the same. America is facing her leadership issues presently now. So America does not even have the moral right to point to any other country of leadership. So, but for Africa, yes and no. Yes, because leadership is everything. A people rise and fall on leadership. But no, also, and I said so before, no, because leaders are chosen from amongst followers. And I agree with Fareke there. Leaders are chosen from amongst followers. We have bad followers because we have become like our leaders. Followers who are timid and won't call their leaders out.
Hmm, hmm. We have a question from Pastor Jibola from Lagos, Nigeria. He said, "Who are to be blamed for African accidental leadership?"
I think the morality, there's something wrong with our moral fabrics. In our moral fabric, our societal values have changed. I grew up in a Nigerian where when you see someone buy a new car, before you celebrate the car, you will want to know what is the source of the money.
Hmm,
I
that's true.
grew up in Nigeria whereby you don't dish out chieftaincy titles because somebody have the money. You dish out chieftaincy titles because somebody has a moral status to earn it. To earn it. So we have people who were not rich by any means, but were leaders in the Nigerian society that I grew up in.
Hmm,
Nobody recognized anyone because of their money. People were recognized because of their heart, because of their moral, because of their work amongst the community, because of their transparency, because of their love in their family. So I would answer that question by saying Something is wrong in our social construction. Something is wrong. We celebrate people today without asking question. We
Hmm.
celebrate thieves today. Someone goes into the prison after being jailed for stealing the country's money. The person comes out. We go on to roll out drums and celebrate the person. We even print T-shirts. Something is wrong with our society. If we can fix the society, and then we can fix the country. And then it comes from every home too, from the homes, from the home. Some parents don't even mind, just bring the money. We don't care where they get the money. I didn't grow up in such society. Things have changed, and we need to go back to how things were
Hmm.
before now.
That is amazing. Still on the Global Talkative series with Dr. Akinola Chris from Limpopo, South Africa. And I want to appreciate those who are watching us, Fareke, watching us from on Instagram, Tomi Adremi Ajayi, Oluwadaya Demo from Houston, Texas, Tosinga, Ivy Kwe, thank you, Augustina, Ibenyadara Iruja, Samuel Abutu, Pastor Samuel Abutu from Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on this global talkative series. Our topic is still Africa Renaissance, a creative continent on the rise, and our guest is still Dr. Akinola from South Africa. Now, going back to the same question on followership, what can you say about individual Africans in terms of living by example between one another? You know, followership are a large pool of individuals from everywhere. How we, living by example, because a leader is doing this, and from a leader, from our followership, there comes a leader. So are we as followers in our own capacity living by example?
Now, I saw Farike said that some of the best leaders are still following.
Mm,
Some of and that's pathetic. Fareke is
yes.
very correct. It's pathetic that some of the best followers, Larry Ajayi, some of the best leaders are still following. The psyche of an average Nigerian seems to have been an average African seems to. I know so much of Nigeria, so I can speak of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Has been desensitized. The willpower to be agitated has even been destroyed. The self-esteem of an average African, an average Nigerian, seems to have been bruised. You can't fight for yourself. Nobody can fight for you. And when someone, the last Nigerian election now in 2015 or so, 2019, we saw vibrant people coming out with ideas that will rock the boat of the world. But what do we have? We have people lining up to receive 5,000 naira, 4,000 naira, and a bale of Ankara that will fade in the next 3 weeks just to vote for those people who have stolen their patrimony. So people don't have support. Simply, number one, they don't have the name. Number two, they don't have the base. Number three, they don't have the finance. We still have the politics of money in Africa, especially in Nigeria. What do
Mm,
we say about individual Africa and in terms of living by example between one another?
mm,
I want to submit here, for example, that the Nigerian society, the African has learned to survive without their government, and that is
mm.
a poor place to be.
Wow.
The African, the Nigerian, for example, will find a way around issue of water and drill borehole, find a way around issue of electricity and buy the big generator, the medium generator, and the small generator.
Mm,
So we have done something which is good. We have been able to forge ahead without government, but it is also bad because governance is all about the people, not about the leaders,
mm,
about making the people comfortable, making the people have an understanding of the fact that they matter. They matter as an individual. As an individual, when you see the flag of your country, what do you think? I see when people sing national anthems in other country, how they cry, they weep. Singing
mm,
national anthem makes you weep. It's exciting. Can you sing your country's national anthem, the green, white, green, and weep? It's amazing because there's nothing that the government has given. There's nothing that the government has given. There is nothing that the country has given. So
mm,
talking about followership, over the years, it appears as if uh, the people only have themselves now. You will be amazed at what is going on the continent. Ordinary citizens are helping one another. There are great leaders, like Farake was alluding to. There are great leaders in communities, great leaders in churches, great leaders in mosques who are concerned about humanity, who are concerned about people. We have parents who are great leaders, who are doing everything possible to help each other in spite of the government. And it's a shame to any government that the people are trudging on, are surviving, and making a name for themselves in spite of their lackadaisical attitude. In the last Olympic, we had 4 girls or 3 young women who represented us in a game that was never an item for Nigeria.
mm,
They trained themselves, they bought the gear, and they went to Olympic by themselves. That is the power that an average African has and an
mm,
average Nigerian has.
mm,
And I see that since we lack leadership agencies, the survival method for all Africans, especially Nigerians, is helping each other. Larry helps Olakris, Olakris helps Farike, Farike helps Paul, and we all hold ourselves. We hiss at the leaders. We still continue, but we
mm,
must move from that point. We must
mm,
move ahead to ask for deliberate accountability
mm,
from leadership.
mm. That is amazing. You know, talking about accountability, asking questions, and all of that. We're going to come back to that later, but I'm seeing from the questions about education, opportunities, lack of education, and that leads to the next question about poverty, poor education, and ill health are some of the top issues facing African continents. What strategies do you think can be adopted to deal with these challenges? It's
Back
a
to
tough
leadership.
one. Hmm,
Back to leadership.
hmm,
Poverty is everywhere, not because the land is poor, but
hmm,
because the mind of the leaders are poor.
hmm,
Poor education, not because the people are unintelligent,
hmm,
but because the leadership is unintelligent.
hmm, hmm,
Ill health, not because there are no good physicians, but because the leadership do not harness the resources of these good physicians. We have over 30,000 physicians here.
hmm,
And in the UK also, I can't remember the real statistics now. We have physicians doing very well all over the world. Nigerian physicians
hmm,
attending to prime ministers, attending to presidents, attending to presidential aspirants. We have computer scientists, we have academics who are Nigerians building societies except their own society. Why?
yeah. Hmm,
Why? Because bad leadership will not celebrate brilliance, will not celebrate entrepreneurship, will not celebrate brilliance. It's a
hmm,
shame. It's a shame that we have the best on the continent, we have the best in the country in Nigeria. We have them being muscled from bringing out their best. By the
hmm,
time you travel to VI from Magboro, 3 hours tow,
yeah.
3 hours fro, 6 hours already, plus maybe 1 or 2, 7 hours of your life in
The
the
old day is
travel.
gone. The
How
old
do
day
you
is
want
gone.
to live? Still, we have these people creative. Ah, if we can have leadership that understands the meaning of leadership, that understands the meaning of human capital development,
Hmm,
we would be flying by now in Nigeria.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
Poverty. poor education. Nigeria was where you sent people from outside the country to come and school. How
Hmm.
many people traveled overseas to go get education? How
Hmm.
many people traveled overseas? The Saudi family, Saudi royal family were coming to UCH to receive health care. UCH there in Ibadan to receive health care. The best of our surgeons, they are in the country, they are out of the country.
Hmm.
In fact, it's easy to submit that Nigeria is the only one delaying the progress of Africa.
Wow. That is a huge one.
So, back to leadership. All
Hmm.
what good governments are required of is the provisions of enabling environment for citizens to flourish.
Hmm.
The presidency in Nigeria says the youth must go back to the farm, and the youth are scared of being killed at the farm.
Yeah.
Lack of security. What type of leadership is that?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, the best of governance will create enabling environment for citizens to flourish, nothing more. Provide the basics. Citizens don't ask for much, they just ask for the basics.
Hmm.
Let me have access to bread. Let me have access to amenities. Let me have access to security. Let me have good security. Let me have power. Let me have good environment to meditate on.
Hmm.
Look, housing, security, pensionable jobs. My father is a pensioner and he will need to line up every month to receive. After you slave for your country, you are slaving to receive what is due to you. What type of a society is that?
Hmm.
What type of a society? People are supposed to rest after they have used their energy for their nation. They're
Yeah.
supposed to rest and the nation begin to serve them now.
They kept on serving.
And they keep on serving, they keep on begging to receive what is due to them. No
Hmm.
medical insurance, even for people who have served.
Wow.
Wow.
Hmm.
Look, in an enabling society, the rich will enjoy his riches and the poor will enjoy his poverty. And nobody is asking anything from anyone. The poor will have the same security as the rich has. The poor will eat the same bread the rich has. The poor will walk on the same road, have access to finance, to drive about the same car. People are not asking for anything that is a rocket science. The rich
Hmm.
should be able to enjoy their richness and let the poor enjoy their poverty in peace.
Hmm.
Let them go to the hospital and be attended to,
Yeah.
not be
Hmm.
declined because they are poor. That will not augur well. So
Hmm.
people should not be poor and miserable at the same time. It's not a
It
crime to be poor, but you must not be miserable at the same time. Then people must not be rich and be arrogant at the same time.
doesn't work.
Africa, especially in Nigeria, we have rich people who are arrogant, and we have poor
Especially in our
miserable
politics. In our politics.
people who are miserable. And we have non-entities who don't know nothing, who who don't have much in their brain, who get to governance and begin to parade like comedians, and then we say they are senators. Ah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Wow.
You see, those who lead us today are not the best of us. We know
Hmm.
the best of us.
Wow. Wow.
The Akiwumis of AFDB, those are the best of us. We have
Hmm.
the best of us in Nigeria and in diaspora. We have the best of us all around, not in the seat of governance.
Hmm. Hmm. That is a major one because the challenge we have, some of the challenges I think someone identified on this show is that how do you expect me? I'm a professor emeritus or a doctor or engineer somewhere in North America or South America. I don't understand the language of the streets. I don't know how to carry gun weapons. How do you encourage someone like that to come back and run for office when someone is on the ground with guns and machetes? And then I'm coming with my ideas of how to empower people, build schools, hospitals, and that's what I know. I know how to plan because I've been able to do that successfully in other parts of the world. So how do you encourage someone in that situation to come and to face someone who is a militia, who has a militia mentality? How do you do that? How do you do that? It doesn't work.
It
because
doesn't.
I would not want to, because like I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not going to lay down my life for someone who is ready to kill me. For what? That is the challenge that we have. I think we've been facing, and how to solve the problem is just one of the major issues, a tough one to crack. And
Mm.
that leads me to the next question: that, in your view, with your experience on Africa, this African continent, and challenges facing Africa, in your view, is there a model country in Africa that we can learn from, or if there is anything like a model country in Africa?
Thank you. This is a question that I have always recused myself from from debates of comparisons, such as this question requires. But you see, here and there, we can have models. Models. There are models of this one is better at this. This one is better at this.
Mm,
This one is better at this. In that, then we can have a discussion. But to say one country in its totality is better than the rest of the country on the same continent of Africa, it will be a wide goose. You see, I see it this way. Africa is one, and her progress or decline should be a collective responsibility.
mm,
The AU, for example, does not call member presidents to accountability. So presidents are doing whatever they like in their country. The AU does not call anyone to order.
mm,
Something must happen, and the AU need to be restructured in a way that each president will be autonomous in their own domain, but they will be scared of what the AU will ask for concerning accountability. Insecurity in Nigeria, for example, nobody can stand up to the Nigerian government because Nigeria is a big brother. Nobody can stand up to Nigerian government. Nobody can even pull sanctions on Nigerian government. You see, so when we pick, I tell people I live in a country where people protest. Wow. I tell people, I said Nigerians should find out from South Africans what it is to protest. Nigerians don't know how to protest. South Africans will protest and they will get whatever they want through their
mm,
protest.
mm,
Nigerians, we have been used to being defeated so much that we sit down. It's only 4 years. Let him finish his term. We'll just choose another one. South Africans will kick you out right there. We
mm,
need to. We need to learn from Rwanda, for example. The Rwanda leadership thinking of the people. The
mm,
Rwanda leadership protecting its people. The Rwanda leadership protecting its governance from external influences,
mm,
right? We need to learn from Ghana. Ghana is fixing herself. Ghana has about the strongest currency on the continent now. Ghana is fixing herself, and Ghana is calling people in diaspora back home. Can Nigeria call people in diaspora back home? When people who have built houses in Nigeria are even afraid to come and live in those houses. And
mm,
so when we say which country is better, I will say there's no country that is better totally. All African nations have something to learn from each other.
mm. That is
For example,
amazing.
in Nigeria, we can call leadership to accountability. Someone speaks about a governor and then he's arrested. A
Mm,
pressman speaks about a governor, he's arrested. He's 75 years old, and I heard that he abused a governor and they arrested him. What type of jungle is that?
mm,
What type of a jungle is that?
mm,
And we
mm,
have all resources. And then Africa don't trade amongst themselves.
mm.
We have over
3 billion.
1.5 billion, and
1.5
we don't
billion now.
ourselves. The timbers from Namibia goes to Italy, and then the Nigerians buy it from Italy instead of coming down here next door and buying this
Wow.
thing. Aha! So we are not. So all leaders in Africa must sit down and think of an Africa that they want. And as
mm,
long as we are divided in Africa, as long as they are beginning to compete in Africa, there will be no problem. And this is what the West want. So
mm.
what is the use of one is better than the other categorization? There's no use.
Yeah.
There's no use.
Mm.
Because otherwise we'll be looking at, there was a preacher who said a pressed man was from Somali, was a Somalian recently. I mean, imagine that statement. Are you saying Nigerians are better than Somalians? I mean,
Wow.
these are nonsense that shouldn't even come from such category of people. It means
Mm.
Africans are still looking at each other as I am better than you, I am superior than you. And something
Mm.
is wrong if a family is divided against
Against
itself.
itself.
So, in
Mm.
fact, those who relish in our division, they will jump on and continue to use it to further put wedges in between brothers and sisters. Africa must unite. Africa must see themselves as one. And then when we become one and formidable, it will be easy for us to learn from each other. You see, we are not, Africa is not learning from each other. After South Africa got emancipation from apartheid, they went to the UK, to the US to borrow their constitutions to learn from them. They couldn't learn from over the fence here from fellow Africans.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
South Africa still feels and looks as if it's different entirely from the rest of Africa.
Mm.
So we are still divided. We are still divided.
Mm.
Ghana is chasing foreigners, especially Nigerians, away from Ghana. We're still divided. We don't learn from each other. We are not talking to each other. That's our problem in Africa.
Mm. 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 Can we
And
say
so
it's a problem of pride?
this country is better than the other. We all have the same problem. If there's gender-based violence in South Africa, there's gender-based violence in Nigeria, there's gender-based violence in DRC, there's gender-based violence everywhere. So
Mm.
Africans have the
Mm.
same problem of progress.
Now that leads me to another one major question about hope for Africa. That is there hope for an African continent? For example, we have Chinese invading some part of East African nations now. The other day I saw a picture of Chinese in the country's uniform as a policeman. You know, how can you? I've been to China several. I've been going to China for almost 10 years. There's no way. I've never come across a black man in a Chinese police uniform. Never. I don't think it's going to happen. But how come that is happening now in some part of African countries where you have Chinese, insignia, Chinese, authorities trying to like dictate how to move this country forward. Now, is there hope for Africa?
Two angles to that question. Thank you, sir. If we do not develop ourselves, if we do not become introspective and talk to each other and talk to ourselves, there is no hope for us. If
Wow.
we continue to allow old people who are about to go to their graves to continue to lead us, old people that will be planning for the next 60 years when they will not be around, if we are allowing them to still lead us, there's no hope for us.
Mm.
But there will be hope for us if we begin to think and sit down and look inward and begin to be deliberate. You see, we are not deliberate. Leadership in Africa, I speak especially of Nigeria, is not deliberate. There's no deliberate leadership. There's no deliberate. There's no intentional leadership. There's no strategic leadership. There's no
Mm.
audacious leadership.
Mm.
All what we have been having is deliberate citizens, intentional citizens who survive at all odds, who deliberately survive and make it in life at all odds, strategic citizens, and audacious citizens who brave the obstacles and make something good out of their lives.
Mm.
How many citizens of Nigeria, for example, can say, I am grateful for my government, the opportunity my government gave to me?
Mm.
But we see many of our African brothers and sisters, Nigerians especially, who go overseas, who say, wow, the government of this country, they did this for me, the government of this country. And when they change citizenship, you will see the excitement in them.
Wow.
You see, there's a lot of hope in Nigeria. There's a lot of hope in Africa. Africa has never been without hope, really. Hope has, in fact, kept us safe, kept us alive. I can make an example of the South African project. It is the hope. South Africa is the most hopeful environment on this continent. Through the journey of apartheid, the people kept themselves being killed, being messed up in their bodies, in their minds, dissipated, decapitated. Hope kept them alive. Hope kept them alive. And ancestrally, and a typical South African knows that there is hope. There is
Mm,
hope for them. Now, hope has in fact kept us sane. So we must um, be deliberate
mm,
in the face of serial disappointments from leaders. We must
mm,
become deliberate, intentional, and strategic. Now, self-help is what we need. We need to help ourselves. When we talk about China coming in, look, if you don't value your land, foreigners will come in and help you to value it. If you
mm,
don't value your citizen, foreigner will come in and help you abuse them further.
mm.
And the balance or imbalance of power and economics is what is at play now. China is big brother to Africa. Africa can't say no to the money China has. Africa can't say no to the technology China has to offer. So the
Mm.
negotiation is not balanced at all. The Chinese are negotiating from a broader perspective. These are people who stand up against the Americans. Who are you, the Africans?
Wow.
You are a push aside. You're a push aside. So we must deliberately look inward and bring in diaspora brain to come and support the brains that are within the country. So
Mm,
we have need of self-help.
mm,
Self-help. You see, if
mm.
democracy does not work for us, let us discard it and employ the kind of governance systems that works for us. To the best of my knowledge, democracy isn't doing it for us.
Mm.
Or at worst, adapt our legal systems to reflect our traditions and cultures. Africa, then diaspora help. Look, diaspora help. Funny enough, a lot of the so-called developments in foreign lands are achieved on the blood and the sweat of black people, of
Mm,
Africans. We have
mm.
been a major part of development in the Western world in all strata of endeavor: economics, science, invention, commerce, manufacturing, medicine, sports, entertainment, fashion, music, astronomy, in ICT. We have huge representations of Africans.
Exactly.
We are not hopeless. Africa is not hopeless.
Mm,
We are just
mm,
visionless. So therefore,
mm.
let Africa lure diasporans. Let's lure them back home. Because there's something about diasporans. Diasporans don't give a hoot about anybody.
Yeah.
Diasporans don't call the president their daddy. They say Mr. President, and that's what that matters. Diasporans won't come and prostrate for any local government chairman and treat him like if it's a thing god. There's a vision of the diasporans that can copulate with the strength of those who are at home. The diasporans can't come and do things without the help of the people at home, and the people at home can't achieve anything without the help of the diasporans. So we
That is
must come together in concerted effort and make things happen. So
that is
therefore, let
amazing.
Africa lure in diasporans to come back home and build Africa. We have
Mm.
never been short of mental power,
Yeah,
but the
that is
will is
amazing.
what we need now. When people
Yeah,
are scared to go back home, the home will continue to rot, and
that is
strangers
amazing.
will go home and deplete the land.
Wow, wow. Still on the Global Talkative series with Dr. Ola Chris Akinola from South Africa. And our topic of discussion is still Africa Renaissance, a creative continent on the rise. And I would appreciate Maluleke underscore Nkoka who joined. I want to appreciate Naturally Tanned Tile, for joining. Fareke, thank you. Bello Taiwo Armstrong, thank you for joining. And Malcolm underscore Atlanta, thank you for joining. We appreciate all the contributions. And as well, for those who are watching us on Facebook, Tuashi, for Work Bura Sunday, thank you. Wickfrey Brewster, all the way from Calgary, thank you. Pastor Jibala Ajayi, Tomi Ajayi, Oluwadayo Adeyemo, to singer Ivy Quay, Augustina Igbenyada, thank you for joining us on this discussion, and we're still continuing in our discussion. You're mentioning some very vital points, and then we had some comments, from Pastor Nigeria. I said Nigerian problem is not the absence of leadership, but the absence of men and women with the spirit of ownership. And I went on to say that what you don't own never works. But the challenge, that I want to put forward today is we have the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, the Ghanaian giants. We have the president of Zimbabwe, that just passed,
Oh,
uh,
Mugabe.
Mugabe. These guys started out very well, with a good, like Mugabe is someone that can speak to any authority in the world. But at some point, what went wrong? That the country, you know, because I'm saying this, Zimbabwe is to be known as the food basket of the continent. But 30, 40 years back down the line, they turned to and it's nation that is looking for help with a very devalued currency, challenges here and there, and we can say that of different part of Africa. What seems to be the issue? Because taking in terms of ownership, they started well, but at some point something happened. How did they go? Where did they? What happened? What went wrong? Because like Jerry Rawlings started well, and he was able to do something, for his country. But we have not seen that replicated in other part of Africa. Why so?
In a few weeks from now, the BB Nigeria, for example, they will vote the best housemate, right? About 30 million voters, youth, they will vote. 30 million youth will vote for one person to receive 85 million naira. All right?
Hmm.
Okay. Now, I don't blame them. Many people blame them. The youths are lazy, the youths are useless. I don't blame the youth. The youth are looking for an opium. They are looking for an opium, something that can give them joy. They don't have it in leadership. How many youths want to go into the military to serve in Nigeria? But the same youth, when they get into foreign lands, the first thing they do after 2 weeks, 2 months, is to be conscripted happily and joyfully into the military of foreign land. How
Hmm.
can you own a type of African nation like Nigeria that does not give you a reason to own it?
Hmm.
How do you own it? When I was in high school, we were told that we were the leaders of tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
The
Yeah.
people who told us we were the leaders of tomorrow are still there now. When will it be my turn to lead? When
Hmm.
will it? So the psyche of the people have been messed up to even own. Look, I am in South Africa today. I have passion and excitement singing the South African national anthem.
Hmm.
I have passion because I see how what the government does for its people and does for foreigners. Although we say that South Africans are xenophobic, I don't buy those narratives.
Hmm.
This nation is doing so much for its students. This nation is paying the school fees for its students. This
Wow.
nation is giving free health even to foreigners, even to refugees in this country.
Hmm.
This nation, their leaders don't go overseas for treatment.
Hmm.
Nigerian
Unlike another.
leaders go overseas for treatment. You
Hmm.
wish COVID will remain for the next 10 years so that
Hmm.
no everybody is locked down and will repair our health system.
Hmm.
The youth have no opium than themselves, than play, than fun. The youth can't be creative again because there is no enabling environment. Create an enabling environment, you will know who an average Nigerian is.
Hmm.
Because in spite of the enabling environment, Nigerians they still have fortitude. I speak of Nigeria because I know Nigeria very, 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 very well.
Hmm.
So ownership, I beg to differ. It is difficult to own. I have friends who went into politics and now, all right, what's happening? They say, man, I can't. I'm thinking of my husband. I'm thinking of my wife. I'm thinking of my children. I can't just go and die. How do you own it
Wow.
when somebody is chasing after you because you are popular to kill you because you take more votes?
Hmm.
How? The judicial system is not trusted. How do you own such a country?
Hmm.
How do
Hmm.
you own such a country? The leadership is telling you you don't even know what is going on. They don't carry the people along. How do you own such a country? It is difficult to own. Let's not deceive ourselves.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
is difficult to own. How many people have come out now to say my name is Ola Judas Iscariot? Nobody wants to own Judas Iscariot because of the bad name.
Yeah. Hmm.
Nobody. Many people who grew up in Boronu, they are sad about what Boronu has become now. Who wants to own Boronu? Who wants to go there and still farm? Who wants to be a farmer?
Hmm.
So when we talk about owning something, no, give me good security. You will know how easy it is for me to own Nigeria. Give me free and fair election, then you will know how it is to raise that green, white, green flag and be patriotic.
Hmm.
When I watch Nigerian soccer, Nigerian footballers playing, I have palpitation because I love my country and I will love that country till death. But
Hmm.
ownership is not given to anybody. Some people are strong, in spite of anything, they will own it. But some people, when their hopes are dashed once, twice,
They
they don't
leave.
own anything. A woman came from America, I think, and she was raped around Ondo, and her daughter watched her being raped,
Wow.
her to own. And she said she will never step on the country again. To
Hmm.
own what? Own what? Hello.
Hmm.
It is because people have nowhere else to go. They will have abandoned the ship. It is difficult to own something that you are not proud of.
Hmm. Thank you very much. And that leads to the next question. So much has been said about leadership. Now let's focus a bit on the youth. How can they be reformed and be maximized for desired transformation? Like you rightly said, they need an opium because I read a statistic somewhere that the last election that was done in Nigeria, it's you can't compare to the number of votes that Big Brother Africa or Nigeria records. They record million, 30 million, whereas in the whole of the election, we don't get up to like 10 million. So, and majority of the youth are those who are voting, during the Big Brother, program, all of that. So, how can the youth be reformed and be maximized for the transformation that we so much desire in all of Africa?
Very big question. The role of the youth. Can they be reformed and maximized for the desired transformation? Enabling environment. Over 65% of Africans are below the age of 35. How else do you want to be blessed? Over 65% of Africans are below 35 years old. That is about the prime of life from 18 to 40. That's about the prime of life, the most productive years. So the future of manpower in the world is Africa.
Hmm.
But you see, the West, they know it. People from outside know these things. I promise you, why do you have visa lotteries?
Hmm.
Because working population is depleting in the West. They want people who will come and work their system. Why do you think we have scholarships? Do you think there is nothing free in this world? People who give scholarships, educational scholarships, and we jump at it. I got scholarship. It's another form of slavery. It is labor. It is labor. And those people are white. And we cannot disparage or be angry at people who jump at scholarship. People will jump at where they will live better, even if they be slaves.
Hmm.
That is the dilemma of the whole structure.
mm.
So when you apply for overseas scholarship, a
Dr.
major
Olaku, just hold the thought. We're timing out on Instagram, but we're going to connect back because Instagram only allows 1 hour. But on
all right,
YouTube and Facebook, we continue. So we'll time out in about 10 seconds on Instagram. We'll connect again and we'll continue discussion. So you can go ahead.
awesome. So so look at that. We have the numbers. We have the labor force. African labor force is about
Okay, I'm just trying to connect back to Instagram so that we can just continue the discussion. Okay, we're back on Instagram now, so I'm just going to send you another invitation so that people can, go along with this conversation because it's been very exciting, and we have comment that this is a discussion that we need to, have about Africa because it is very pertinent, based on the challenges we're facing, and we have more people. If you have more questions, please send your question in, whether on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, and then we can do our best to answer the question. So I'm bringing in Dr. Olakris again on Instagram so that everybody can join the conversation. So we're waiting for Dr. Chris to connect back. Okay, so we're back on Instagram. So the question we were talking about the role of youth. How can they be reformed or transformed to maximize for desired transformation? So you were saying something about the youth, and you mentioned something earlier on about the opium, and I said something about the challenges we have. The youth are more ready to vote during Big Brother Africa for one person to make a living, to become a millionaire, whereas voting for a president to govern or lead, it becomes an issue. So how can we what can be done to transform this youth to have their mind change towards what is important, what is valuable?
and one of the major things that we can do is to go back to educational system. The curricula of our schools. There's no. I don't know if there's civic studies anymore in education. I don't know if there's history. I don't know if there's history anymore. Okay, I hear that history is coming back into our curriculum. For example, in Nigeria, um, there are names that should be blacklisted by now in history. Names of
Hmm,
people who have stolen from our Commonwealth.
hmm,
Names that people should know that this is this is one family who raped the country, who destroyed the economy of the country. This is what their grandfather did. This is what their father did, and we don't have such histories. We don't
hmm,
have such histories, so it's difficult for people to learn uh, from history. You see, I, I value what the Asian countries do. When you become a politician, you're going to government, they take you into prison to see the prison cells.
wow.
Uh, yeah, they take you through a tour to the prison cells. Imagine taking our commissioners, our ministers, taking them into the jail cells. It's like telling them this is where you will end up if you
If you
steal
misbehave.
money. Take the judges of the Supreme Court from the magistrate court, take them, walk the president's aspirants, walk them through the jail cells, uh, let them know what will happen to them.
Hmm,
I've never seen where people resign from their job because they something was done wrongly under them in my country or in my continent. We
hmm,
still have a long way to go. So how can the youth be maximized? It is simple. Go back into the educational structure, begin to inform the youth, and begin to make them engaged and involved in politics, for example, in governance. Recently, a few weeks back, I saw a video of a 23 Nigerian girl, an Igbo girl, who is who ran for political office in the UK, and she won. Our people
Wow.
are doing better outside. Why not within the continent? So the youth must be given our hope. The youth must be given our hope. After going through college, they don't have a job. How do you even want to contribute to such a society?
Hmm.
The youth must begin to have a hope of the continent, a hope of their country, a hope of the morality of their leaders. The, when a woman was caught in adultery, Jesus said, "Is there any of you that has not done anything like this before? Take the first stone." You see, take the first stone and cast it. People who have records that are negative shouldn't even be given opportunity to go back to office. Someone big was a bad governor, and then he is back in the Senate doing what?
Hmm. Hmm.
8 years in the Senate, in governor's office, and then you want to go back to Senate for another 8 years or so. Why? So the youth must be given opportunity to contribute, opportunity to be resourceful. African youth, if you see what African youths do on the internet, if you see African what they do on the internet, the ideas they bring out on the internet, you will know how useful this set of human beings can be.
Hmm.
So the youth must be given opportunity to own the continent, to own their countries.
Hmm.
We have the numbers. We have people inventing helicopters and aeroplane in a corner of Aba.
Yeah.
We have people developing themselves. During this pandemic, the beginning of it, people making what
PP
is it called?
equipment, protective
Yes,
equipment.
making equipment from no assistance from the government. The government should be ashamed that their citizens can achieve things without their own input.
Hmm.
So when the youth are given opportunity, look, somebody gets 85 million from Big Brother house. The best mathematics graduating student from the university gets 10,000 naira. Can you see the madness?
Hmm.
Can you see the madness? It doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
who wants to go to school? Who wants to go to school? Nobody wants to go to school. You just become popular on Instagram, and then you become popular. Money will come to you.
Wow.
And look at how resourceful people can be in their prime. We are not
Hmm.
allowing that to happen.
Hmm.
We have
Hmm.
intelligence on the continent. We are not allowing them to happen. So the
Hmm.
youth must be deliberately channeled and prepared. We don't
Hmm.
have institutions that prepare the youth. We don't have the institutions that prepare the youth.
Hmm.
For example, there's a scheme in Nigeria, the National Youth Service Corps, the NYC. The
Yeah.
NYC is a 1 year compulsory. The 3 weeks to 1 month exercises and regimentation that happens. Wow, it makes you mentally stable. I don't know what happens now today. Every youth, every Israeli youth knows something about military.
Yeah.
They are conscripted. It is compulsory. Every Israeli youth is a fighter. Everybody picks up a gun if war comes now. If war comes in our continent, how many people can fight? Especially only in a place like South Africa, who have a history of militancy. Every other country in Africa, we will run to the bush and cry, "Help us, help us, help us."
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
youth must deliberately be channeled into. I see the boldness of South Africans, the boldness of South Africans in facing their problems, in facing their leadership, in confronting their leadership. The voices of our youth have been gagged, and it comes from the social construct of our society. Honor the elders, even if they steal your money. Still
Hmm.
say, "Hey, I salute you, my daddy. I salute you, my king." South Africans will not do that nonsense. South Africa will deal with you right from the parliament. But we even give them front seats at the churches, at the mosques. We
Hmm.
name streets after them. We hail them. We go and beg at their doorsteps. When I was growing up, nobody begged at the doorstep of a wicked man or a wicked family. We ostracized them. So the youth must be given a sense of belonging, a
Hmm.
sense of ownership of the country.
Hmm. Hmm. That is amazing. Thank you for those who are still joining us. Chris Emetole Thank you for joining us from Nigeria. Maluleke Nkoka, thank you for joining us. And those who are still watching us to ourselves, for Ogbera, Wakefield, Brewster, Ajibala Jai, thank you for joining us on this discussion. Now, on running up this discussion, what do you desire to change at the immediate level for a desired future for Africa?
Let everybody begin to talk to
Mm,
each other
mm,
about our problems.
mm.
Let us begin to share ideas and strength so that South Africa will help Nigeria in places where Nigeria is weak, so that Nigeria can help DRC in places where DRC is weak, so that the Egyptians will help the Ghanaians in the places where they are weak. Nobody has it all
Yeah,
on the continent, and nobody should arrogate completeness to itself. No country should. We should talk to each other. We should have koinonia. The president should have koinonia. The African Union should be a platform where all presidents will be accountable. Imagine if the African Union is like a court where citizens can go and report their president.
yeah.
Imagine,
Hmm.
imagine that president will sit up. Imagine if there's a there's a unit or a platform under the auspices of African Union, whereby senators can be reported. Can you imagine that people will sit up?
Hmm.
Can you imagine whereby we have systems where a senator will come and account every year in a town hall what she did, what he did throughout the year?
The money was given.
Yes, these monies were given.
Hmm.
Rather, people will go and line up in a senator's house whenever he's visiting the village. What is a senator doing in the seat of government in Abuja, for example?
Hmm.
What is he doing there?
Hmm.
How often does he visit his constituency? And when he
Dude.
goes there with money, he gives them money. People don't need money. They need enabling environment. That's what
Hmm.
people need. Enable the environment to flourish, enable the environment to bring out their personality and their creativity.
Hmm.
Walk freely, walk freely,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So we
Yeah.
must begin to talk to each other. That's where I veered from. We must begin to have conversations with each other, to ask questions. How are you people doing in Ghana? Rwanda, how are you doing? The
Hmm.
Rwandese are respected today all over the world because of Kagame. Of course, some
Oh,
people don't,
Kagame.
but Rwanda, Kagame is well respected. Kagame called the bluffs of the French, calls the bluff of the Americans. If we begin to have these conversations and look into each other as Africans, starting from the presidency, we will have progress. We
Hmm.
will have progress.
Hmm.
We will
Hmm.
have increase, and we will have development. This
Hmm.
continent is rich. The world knows that. This
Yeah.
continent is rich of everything. Now we're talking about the rich in youth, number of youth, population of youth, rich in natural resources,
Yeah.
rich
Talent.
in mental
City.
capacity.
Hmm.
I teach South African youths here. Oh my goodness, these young men and women are intelligent people. Intelligent people. Wow. And then this one is a good one. We must begin to go back to our indigenous knowledge systems
Hmm.
and our languages. When we
Why? Why?
begin to
Why do you say
our
that?
language,
Why do you say that? Our languages. Why do you say that?
because your culture, your person, your history is in your tongue.
Exactly. Wow. Hmm.
Your culture, your person, your history, and I dare to say your future is in your tongue. It's in your
Hmm.
tongue. It's in your tongue. It's in your tongue.
Hmm.
Look at the things we are putting on as Africans. These are cotton materials brought from Europe, brought from the West. So they are still making products for us. Instead of us to be making our own products, our own clothing materials with the materials that we have here and export them. We're talking, look, we don't speak one language.
Hmm.
And our history, our past, our future, our personality is look at your name, Ajayi. Look at your name. Your name has a meaning.
Yeah.
Your name has a history. There are names in Nigeria, there are names in South Africa. When you hear them, you know where they are from. My friend Malule Koka is on the call. I know where he's from. It's a Tonga man. The name tells you where this man is from. Your tongue tells you where you are from. Our identity is taken away from us when our tongue is twisted.
Wow, that is
Now,
amazing.
I want to talk to you, and you say, "Oh, you've got an accent." I'm speaking your language. I must have an accent because I have my own language. If I speak my language, you won't say I have an accent.
Yeah.
When people say you have an accent, they are demeaning your own language, and it is wrong.
Hmm.
So we must begin to indigenize everything. Our judicial system, we must begin to indigenize it. In Nigeria, I laugh when I see people putting on wig on their head. People still putting on wig in the judicial system in Nigeria. It's a shame. It's a shame. We must consult our. We must find out how our ancestors lived. How
Hmm.
did they live? Because before the colonizers came,
Hmm.
did we not have medicine before the colonizers came?
Hmm.
Did we not have clothing materials before the colonizers came?
Hmm.
They call us savage. Were we savaged?
Hmm.
The bronze fabrication in Benin Kingdom in Nigeria.
Hmm.
Wow. Were we savaged?
Hmm. You
Just
posted a picture recently about the Oni of Ife, his
yeah.
regalia. Yeah, I saw a picture just to like
Oh,
buttress what
you
you're saying.
see that? How
Yeah,
regal. Can you imagine an Oni of Ife putting on suit?
hmm,
It makes no sense.
exactly.
When you see an African king in the lion skin, in the leopard skin, you will know this is the royalty. But what is suit? Suit and tuxedo and black tie. What does that mean? What does that even mean? What does it when our ancestors see us in some things, they just wonder, are these my children or not? What is wrong? Am I very recently, there was a protest a week ago or so when an advert in a chemist in a pharmacy store said, Nkoka was telling me now, said that the black hair is damaged hair, then the white
Wow.
hair is good hair.
Wow.
The whole country went erupted. How could you say that? Such an insult in my father's land.
Wow. Hmm.
So we must have ownership of our language. Our tongues are twisted. Look at me now. I'm even suffering talking to you in English. I wish we were speaking in Yoruba, or I'm speaking in Tonga, or I'm speaking in isiZulu, or I'm speaking in Sepedi, or I'm speaking in Kiswahili, or I'm
Hmm.
speaking in Igbo,
Hmm.
or I'm speaking our indigenous language. We can
Hmm.
even understand ourselves better.
Hmm.
I can't even joke with you now in English. You will think it's offensive. But when I joke with you in Yoruba, you will
You
know. You
laugh.
will know.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when we go back, and when you lose your language, you lose your name, you lose your personality.
Hmm.
We have lost our personality as Africans. We must go back there.
Can we say that
Then
this
we will.
issue of sorry to cut you, can we say that because I was privileged to be in China, for some years and still going there because I have a relative there. And from my understanding, in Japan, in China, in Germany, students are lectured in the mother tongue. Can we say that actually had value or helped their development thus far?
It does. Oh, my baby sister is there, Rachel Adeshola. Love you, baby. It does. It does. It helps development because look, my students, I tell my students, I say, when you want to answer my question, I don't. My students are brilliant students. My South African students are brilliant students. I tell them, I am not marking your grammar, I'm marking your intelligence.
Hmm.
I want to see how intelligent you are, and I see how intelligent my students are on their papers. I'm not going to be judging you over someone else's language and score you 40 over someone else's language and score you 10 over someone and say you are poor, you can't think well because you are thinking in someone else's language. It's
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Hmm.
When people are taught mathematics in their indigenous language, they will understand better.
Hmm.
And there's the beauty of comfortability. You are not on edge. You are not even trying to want to do it because you are being taught at home, as it were.
Hmm.
You are being taught in your mother's tongue.
Which
Your
comes to you naturally. Which comes to you naturally.
Yes, naturally. I feel better when I worship God in Yoruba songs or Zulu song or in Tonga songs than in English song. I feel it. I feel it because it is me. You are what you speak. That's why we have becoming like the West, because we speak the West.
Hmm. Hmm.
Your culture becomes what you speak.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
The black woman is not proud of her black hair now because she wants it to be straight. She wants it to be like the Western hair.
Or bleach
And
to become white.
then tell us Africa Day. We wear our African clothes once in a year. That's ridiculous.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yet we have here in Limpopo province, Dr. Esther Matlango, the woman traverses all over the world wearing her local fabrics, receiving honorary doctorate degree, and celebrated all over the world because she is indigenous. You remember when we were young, Larry, we were watching India movies. I don't follow
Yeah.
India movies again now because they have become Hollywood.
Yeah. Because the music, the dance, it has to have the music, the dance, the drums, the
When
colors.
those movies, this the number, when
Yeah.
those music tells you this is India, now we are even confused. Is it India now? Is it American now?
Hmm. Hmm.
Why is Nollywood movies doing well all over the world? Because it is indigenous. By the time we begin to shoot guns now from time to time in our movies, then we'll have problem because African society, we don't shoot guns. We don't shoot
At all.
guns in our
At all.
society. So our content now must begin to reflect who we are.
Hmm.
We don't kill ourselves to settle quarrels. The elders sit the youth down. The elders sit the warring parties down, and the elders talk. They talk in their indigenous language, and the youth sees the reason. And that's why our people will say, "Àgbà kì í wà lọ́jà, kórè ọmọ tuntun wọ̀." Elders cannot be in the marketplace and for a child's neck to be wobbling at the mother's back.
Hmm. Hmm.
And now, you know the sorry state of Africa, when our old people begins to pass away, our future is passing away, our history is passing away.
Because they're not transferring the knowledge back.
Yes, yes. I remember the last time I was with my parent because before my mother slept, I asked them questions about their ancestral line.
Hmm.
I want to know where I am from. I want to know where their parents are from. I don't want to be lost. And you
Hmm.
see, the irony is that people, the blacks in America now are tracing their roots back to Africa.
Exactly. The
And
other
we are
day, yeah.
our roots. We on the continent are losing our roots.
Hmm.
That's the irony.
Hmm.
Samuel L. Jackson just discovered now that he is from Gabon and he was taken back to Gabon. He was initiated as a Gabon citizen. Wow.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
beautiful emotional photograph. When we speak our mother tongue, we will speak our own reality. We
Hmm.
will discover our history because encoded in those things is our history, is our culture, is our tradition, is our honor. We
Hmm.
lack no honor now. Why? Because we are not original anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
When we
Hmm.
begin to do things in our own way, we will become original. That's when we will become export quality. Today, we are not export quality. We are just
Hmm.
copying after other people. From our religion to our weddings to our functions to our clothings to our curriculum, we are just copying other cultures.
Copy and pasting.
Do things that are indigenous to us. You know, recently I discovered that totemism, Christ, Christ was totemic. What we say, Jesus, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Lamb of God.
Hmm.
We are thinking of Jesus. We are thinking of a totem. Totem is an African thing. I remember those days whenever I went to my village, my big aunties, mothers, elders of my parents, father will be hailing me, the son of elephant, the son of lion. Wow! I used to wonder. They will be chanting my names that I didn't even know, and something will be swelling in my head.
Yeah.
That's what happens when we worship. That's what happens when we praise. That's what happens when we worship. Hey, La Rose, La Rose, we still have it. We must go back. How do I say La Rose in English? It doesn't make sense.
So wait. So, so
We would go back to who we really are. When we go back to who we really are, our development will be faster. It will not be at the pace of the West. It will affect our curricula at our institutions from primary to higher institution. It will affect our technology. It will affect our morality. It will affect our politics. It will affect our medicine.
hmm, hmm,
We're bringing in McDonald's to Africa. We're bringing in KFC to Africa. Obesity is coming into Africa. We are not
hmm,
wise.
hmm,
How many people have been obese in African food, through African food?
hmm.
Nobody.
That is truth because one why you said that I remember I still regret this till date. My dad passed away about 4 years ago. I remember after studying a Greek up to our institution with the likes of Wole Soyinka, the first set of government college student. Then my dad went into practicing farming, in a Sauke. And
Mm,
each time we're going on the farm, my dad would go into the bush and bring out some bark of trees, you
all
know,
right.
different texture, some dried, some leaves, we pound some, we blend some, and we use some as string stick. And all up till the day he died at 83, my dad never visited an hospital for once.
Wow.
I know till up till well I'm like mature enough. I've never seen my dad complain that I have a headache or fever for once. For
Mm,
once.
mm,
And I remember then that they would just give us this bark of leaves and we'll pound it. Now, while we're pounding, this smoke alone, by the time we inhale the smoke, is bitter. But my dad
mm,
will mix this with pap and drink. And
mm.
it's like we're mixing sugar or milk with custard and
Wow.
drinking. My dad drinks smiling, and this is bitter. And he goes to the farm. We get the fresh yam, and then we're boiling the palm oil in a big drum. We bring out the yam from the hips and then from the soil or the dirt, and then we wash it thoroughly, and we dump the otuba in a big drum of palm oil, and we use the palm oil to cook the yam. That is how I grew up, learning these things from my dad. But what I feel, because then I was like, okay, I couldn't document things because I wanted to ask him now that, okay, what is the name of these leaves? What is the name of this bark? What is the name of that? I couldn't have that recorded. And it still pains me till tomorrow. Because my dad never, for one sickness at all, nothing. But
Wow.
I'm still regretting that I had no idea. I was young. I was in high school then. The idea of documenting them never, come to me. Like, I never had idea. So, to buttress what you were saying, that our medicine and all of that, because we're importing McDonald's, KFC, and people are dying. Obesity is a major issue in the Western world because I had a doctor here, who is from Kenya but lives in North America now, who's an obesity, a specialist treating obesity, and it's a major disease that is killing a lot of people. We don't used to have that. It's not one of the major diseases you've seen in Africa. And that, to buttress what you were saying about what we are importing and we're not exporting our own products. Because our medicine, I don't know, they have a way to cure cancer. They have a leaf. They call it a way to which people think it's a ritual or evil. But I can say it categorically, it is not evil because my dad goes to the tree. I see the tree, cut
Mm,
the leaves, cut the barks, and then brings it to him in the house. And then we pound it some with dry. Unlike people used to see that, okay, if you're going to that shop where they're selling those leaves, you're going to do some juju. It is not juju. I can
mm,
say that at least I grew up seeing my dad doing it. If I were to be juju, my dad would have said something because my dad is a Christian. So we go into this tree. This is the leaves, and we'll cut this one, we'll cut that one, we'll cut this one, mix them together like a concussion, and we'll drink. And we're okay. We're not sick. We're not tired. But now it's a different angle. If you ask someone, let's go to that Agbeni market or J market to where those women are selling pots and those sticks, and they start saying, oh, you're going to some ritualistic whatever experience.
mm.
I don't know how we can go back to that state. How do we
We
go
will.
back to that state?
We will, because the advent of the COVID-19 is beginning to reveal a lot of lapses in in the ways that we think as Africans. It's beginning to expose our limitations when we copy systems of other people, when we copy the beliefs of other people, when we copy the ways of other people. This COVID period is beginning to expose how limited. A lot of people have been aware of this before, that we are just chasing after shadows. You see, the best of Africans who want to be the best of the West can only remain a second fiddle of the West.
mm,
We cannot become Western. We are African. And when they say, no, we want you to be enlightened. Look, being in the West is not enlightenment. In fact, I think there's more confusion that side than in Africa. And there's more depleting of knowledge that side than in Africa. You
mm.
see, let's go back to medicine a little bit. When I became a born again Christian, one of the things we began to avoid were this agbo, this medicine, this herbal medicine.
Yeah.
It's such a shame now that I have come of age, and I'm glad it is early in life. I've come of age to know that the people we call herbalists are not Satan and they are not satanic.
Yeah.
They are people that God has given. They
Wisdom.
are wisdom of the herbs, wisdom. And I wonder, why don't we even know that it is the God who created the herbs that gave them the knowledge of interpreting what these herbs will work for?
Yeah. It takes
So I begin
skills.
to them the agbo. My parents will give me agbo. I will say, no, 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 no. I will not take it. I will not touch it. It is of the devil. Oh, I feel ashamed now. I feel ashamed now. I feel ashamed now. You see, we must have a better understanding that the version of Christianity that we even practice separates us from our ancestry, and something is wrong about that. There's a portion in the Bible that says Jesus Christ has come to bring division between parents and children, between brothers and sisters. I really find fault in that. I do not believe the Christ that I know will come to bring those separations. How do I want to
Interpretation.
be in a heaven where my parents will not be? How do I want to be in an heaven where Larry Ajayi will not be and he's my brother? How will my religion now separate me from them?
Mm,
And so we have this enormous feeling of ostracizing others who don't believe in Christ. I fought those type of messages, and I don't believe the Christ that I know, that I have acquaintance of, has that thing handed
mindset.
over to us.
Mm,
So we must begin to go back. Everything plus religion, plus our science, plus our education, plus our culture. We must begin to find out what part of the Western influence is not good for us.
mm,
We want to begin to sift them now and begin to look for what is good, what is honorable.
mm,
Um, I tell people, I said the Christ that was presented to us as a white savior is not right. Something is wrong with that narrative. Jesus was not white. And if they lied about the color of Jesus, they must have lied about some other things also. Let's
mm,
begin to find out some other things that were lied about. That's
mm.
my own duty now for the rest of my life, to find out exactly what else were the lies that were told, apart from the pigmentation of the Jesus Christ that was brought to us. What
Mm,
other things did they lie about? That's
mm.
what I'm finding out now. And when I get the truth, it will set me free, Larry.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Ola Chris. We've actually spent an hour and a half on this discussion, and it's still the Global Talkative series. And then we just have about like 2, 3 minutes to end the discussion. And we'll be having a closing word from you in a short while, And our topic of discussion today is Africa Renaissance, a creative continent on the rise. Looking at our music, we rule. African music. By the time you were counting, the other day I was here. I live in Canada, and I was like walking through the malls, and I saw a Chinese DJ playing a P Square song. In fact, it doesn't make sense. I Because I was walking and I saw Chinese DJ without the turntable, and the next thing P Square. I turned back. I said, excuse me, these are my brothers. I said, yeah, I love them. P Square, they're my brothers. Wow, a
Do you
Chinese
know?
DJ.
Sorry to cut you, Larry. Do you know Master KG son,
Yeah,
Jerusalem?
140 million views on YouTube till date.
Now, do you know that that song was so strong and powerful? And when Burna Boy had a collaboration, it blew up again.
Yeah.
That is the power of Africa coming together as
There is
one.
a collaboration in Spanish. I've seen that Spanish version as well. Spanish
Look at
version.
that.
I've
Look
seen the
at
other countries trying to do a collaboration remix. And
In fact, in South Africa now has officialized that song last Sunday. Okay, yesterday, that song must be the official song with which we will enter into level one. I mean, out of level one. That's how
wow.
powerful that song is. Now it's going through, that's the power of indigenous knowledge systems.
Hmm,
Even
hmm.
the rap music that we celebrate came from Africa. The
Yeah.
breakdance is bata dance.
Yeah. Yeah. Omele, all of those. Yeah.
So
But
all what we are saying is Africa should stay home and come back home. My friend Pius Adesomi, Professor Pius Adesomi is late now. He said that Africa is the future that the world needs to go back to. The
wow.
world needs to come back to Africa because this is where everything started.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm prophetic now, and I say it with a sense of responsibility that the face of everybody on the face of the earth will turn towards Africa,
Hmm,
not only for salvation, not only for help, but also for wisdom. Because
hmm,
this has been the cradle of knowledge, the cradle of civilization, the cradle of wisdom, the cradle of medicine, the cradle of art,
hmm.
and everything in between.
Yeah.
I'm an African, and I'm proud,
Hmm.
even arrogant as an African.
That is amazing. From the pyramid of Giza to the embalmment, started by Egyptians back then, to the amazing wall in Benin. I don't know whether the wall still exists now in Benin
Yeah,
Kingdom,
part of it still exists in Benin City. Yeah,
because I would like to, probably get someone from Benin to talk about that, to
yeah,
all the Oparomion in
mm,
Ife, to the Oba of Benin, the
yeah,
dressing, Africa is blessed, it's an amazing continent that, full of creativities,
yeah,
ideas, yearning for expression, and I hope that each person will be proud, because when I'm talking about Africa, I can't forget the Caribbeans brothers and sisters, because they all came from Africa,
yeah,
the Caribbean. So what I do is just to bring that attention to this continent, because it's a sleeping giant that needs awakening, that needs an awakening, that needs to some kind of wake up from your slumber, because there's a lot at stake if we refuse to give rise. And like you said, we need to keep talking about this, talk about this more and more to engage in this conversation, because faith comes by hearing, and the more we talk about it, the more it becomes part of us, and especially trying to use our indigenous ways of doing things, addressing issue like this, and I pray that it's going to be it will not be too late for us. Thank you so much for your time on the show today on the Global Telegram series. This is amazing. Hebrew 122 says proud to be Dudu. Thank you so much, Hebrew. Thank you for those who were joining
that's
so
your
much.
me.
And then Elijah or Sarobo said, yes, the war still exists in Benin City. Thank you, Elijah. Oluwada, you are there more from Eastern Texas. Thank you very much. Ajibala Ajayi, Pastor Ajibala Ajayi from Nigeria. Thank you very much for all those who joined. Luke Lee. Thank you very much. Ajoke Ola. Thank you very much. Tuashi Fogbera Sunday. Thank you for joining. We appreciate you, Wakefree Brewster, my brother. Thank you, Tommy Ajay. Thank you very much. And Oluwade Adeyemo said a giant that needs a knock on the head. A
Yes, sir.
giant
I agree.
that needs
I agree. A big knock. A big
a,
knock.
a big knock on the
Thank
head.
you, Ayo. A big knock. Wake up.
Yeah, wake up from your slumber. So, to all my African brothers and Caribbean brothers from all over the world, today we're drawing the curtain on today's discussion. And thank you so much, Dr. Ola Chris Akinola. If you want to reach out to him, his handle is at Ola Chris on Instagram. At Olakris on Instagram. He lectures at the University of Limpopo. It's a huge influence on the African continent when it comes to movies and plays and write. Kindly reach out to him and follow him at Olakris on Instagram, and then it's also on Facebook. At Olakris. He's an amazing man. Thank you for taking time to be on the show today and to talk to us and all our viewers. Still remain your host Lanre Ajayi. Doing you proud, doing what I can do to add value to humanity. And like I used to say on this show, you can either be your brother's keeper or your brother's killer. Who are you? Bye for now. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.